Drug we're gonna do is Spongia Tosta. The common name is roasted sponge. Diving quick into the remedy, the drug has mainly three spheres of action. One is on glands, RS and CVS. Glands, mainly all glands are affected. The glands are swollen, enlarged and indurated. The main gland that is affected is thyroid gland, and other glands are also affected, which is testis or lymph nodes, especially cervical, or any other gland including pancreas. So when we say thyroid gland is affected, the main action, because it is enlarged and swollen, is going to be goiter. Now goiter can be because of hypothyroidism or hyperthyroidism, but the constitution is more suggestive of hypo, lacks fiber, mainly indicated in children and women, light hair, lacks fiber and fair complexion. It also has a tubercular diathesis. Now, instead of going into whether it is a hypothyroid drug or hyperthyroid drug, the important point is it is a goiter drug, and the symptoms are actually the consequence of goiter in itself. Goiter causes pressure effects, which is seen quite later in the disease when the goiter is too enlarged and it presses over the adjacent structure. So if this were to be our goiter or the enlarged thyroid gland, it will cause pressure effects. First one being hoarseness, there is great dryness in the mucous membrane of all the tracts, that is from throat, larynx, trachea, bronchi, and it is dry as a horn. There is also burning and constricted feeling. There is a feeling as if there is a plug in larynx. So these are two important symptoms of the larynx. The second pressure symptom is suffocative spells. Suffocative spells are worse midnight. The person either sleeps into aggravation or wakes up because of a suffocative spell. There is wheezing, which is worse during inspiration. The person feels as if breathing through a sponge. Another important characteristic symptom of the drug. And the third pressure symptom is dysphagia, which is actually not seen in the drug because the drug has increased appetite and increased thirst. But yes, there is cough, which is worse eating, and throat complaints or worse eating sweets. So this is something. So these are the symptoms that can be related to goiter. Other thing is there is also exophthalmos, and fifth one being distended veins. Now the thyroid gland is said as if swollen with the chin. And there is pain when turning head. For there to be pressure symptoms, the thyroid gland has to be enlarged quite extensively. When there are suffocative spells, the person is actually advised surgery. So prescribing the drug when the thyroid gland is enlarged to such an extent should be, pros and cons should be weighed quite correctly. Moving on to RS symptom, which is the most famous symptom of the drug. So RS symptoms are of four categories. The first one is normal rhinitis or coryza. There is flow and then there is stoppage, causing headache. Second one is actually laryngeal affection. So symptoms will be similar to the hoarseness. The ailments from or aggravation in RS is cold air, or exposure to cold air. The third symptom is of asthma, where suffocative spells may fit in. The wheezing and everything is worse during inspiration, which is because wheeze in itself is an expiratory phenomena, so this is something to be remembered. And obviously there is midnight aggravation. The person is worse after sleep or sleeps into an aggravation. And the fourth RS symptom is TB. Since there is tubercular diagesis, it could be of lung or larynx. That is what is mentioned in the books. Talking about the most important part of the drug, that is cough. The cough is dry, sibilant-like, as if driven through a pine board. It is barking, croupy, rasping, ringing, wheezing, whistling, but it is perfectly dry and there is no mucus rals. This is how we differentiate it from heparin sulf, which has quite expectoration and mucus secretion. Cough has a wide range of aggravation and amelioration modalities, which are as such. So the aggravating modalities are sweets, cold drinks, smoking, reading, talking, laughing, swallowing, or dry cold winds, lying with head low. And ameliorating modalities are eating or drinking warm things. Also, the cough is worse with excitement. This is the RS of Spongia. Moving on to the Cvs symptom. Now, Cvs of Spongia has an actual organic pathology. It could be hypertrophy, it could be angina, or it could be valvular insufficiency, meaning it is not a functional disorder. And there are palpitations, violent with pain and gasping respiration, awaken suddenly after midnight with suffocation and great anxiety. This is also worse before or during menses. Angina pectoris, contracting pain, heat, faintness, suffocation, anxiety and sweat, which is worse after midnight. So this is Spongia. One important comparison which is to be done is with aconite. So point of similarity is the mental symptoms of aconite are completely same, the fear, the anxiety, the fear of death and palpitation, etc. But in aconite it is more of functional, whereas in Spongia it is not so functional because there is actual and organic pathology. In aconite there are febrile states, whereas in Spongia they are not found. Aconite has quite a sudden onset, so the person has gone out in a dry cold wind and he immediately lands up with a sore throat. But in Spongia it is quite slow and gradual. Similarly, differentiation with heparin is by the cough quality. There are no mucus rals in Spongia, whereas they are extensively present in heparin. So this is Spongia. Quick recap: goiter, hoarseness, dry as a horn, plug-in larynx, suffocative spells, worse midnight, increased appetite, asthma, wheezing, worse inspiration, cough, dry, sibilant-like, driven through a pine board, cough, worse excitement. Compare it with aconite and heparin sulf. This is Spongia Tosta for you guys. If you like the video, please like it and subscribe the channel and press on the bell icon so you will get notification every time I post a video. Thank you so much.